jacket Russell?
Russell Crowe.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It is Russell Crowe.
Is it picking up on the... I mean, it will if I do this.
I'll take it off. I don't know whether I can hear it through the thing or I can just hear it.
Interesting.
But
Is this jumper Russell?
Yeah.
Russell
it's also
Crowe?
Russell Crowe.
Yeah. Russell Crowe made it for me. All right.
You know what news I loved recently?
What's that?
Mattel becoming so confident with their Barbie movie.
Oh, yes.
And I guess just properties in general.
This is pre-release, by the way.
This is pre-release. That they are raiding the toy box. And by that I mean they're working on 45 different Mattel properties for the big screen.
Oh my God, James, when all of those are a success, they can combine them into a Mattelliverse. Haha, just kidding, they're all going to fail.
No, wait. We've got Hot Wheels. We've got Matchbox. We've got Polly Pocket. We've got He-Man.
Matchbox, just the concept of a matchbox.
Just a matchbox.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey, kids, play with these matches. They're
He-
magical. They can burn down anything.
Absolutely. They got He-Man. They got Rock Them, Sock Them Robots. They got Magic 8 Ball, American Girl, Uno, Viewmaster. You know Viewmaster, you look through a thing and you go, oh yeah, that's a picture.
Yeah, it's a boat or something. That's great. Oh, all the boats of the world. What if it was magic, though?
No.
Oh.
Anyways, welcome to Caravan of Garbage, where this week we're talking one of the biggest swings, I guess, at bringing a toy to cinemas, a Mattel product also, as well as Barbie. He-Man.
We were going to watch a Barbie computer animated movie.
I started it, the first one.
And then you were like, but wait, we're men, we're a couple of bloody men.
I mean...
We're two, we can't watch a movie for girls, we're going to watch a movie for men.
I started it, and I'm like, I fucking hate this.
Okay.
But also, it was made in an era with technology for a completely different demographic that's not me, direct to video.
Yeah, right.
Like, what am I doing?
Right?
You know?
And plus, if the video did really well, we'd have to do all of them, and there's like 50. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're like, oh my God, let's watch 1987's Masters of the Universe.
Now, what's interesting about Masters of the Universe is that it asks the question, what if Star Wars until the budget ran out?
Oh my God. You are absolutely right.
We've got a sand planet. We've got stormtroopers. We've got a Darth Vader. We've got a Yoda. We've got assorted freaks. We've got New Jersey. That's the point where the budget...
That's exactly right. Well, see, I saw this as a kid. I don't
Yeah,
know.
me too.
I saw this
In the 90s.
Yeah, well, I saw this in the 80s when it came out at cinemas. And prior to that, I had been, I'll say, a fan of the cartoon series. But what I really mean is, you know, I was...
It was on.
Yeah, and I was... it was shot into my eyeballs as a child. But what you know, and the thing about that cartoon is it's the never-ending battle between, you know, the good guys, you know, He-Man's forces and Skeletor's forces to control the great magic of Castle Grayskull.
But Skeletor already has a great castle, by the way. He's got fucking Snake
What do you want?
Mountain.
What do you want? One in an investment property? Get out of here. But you know,
Boomer ass bitch.
that's right. But as was the tradition of cartoons at the time, the status quo never changed, obviously, right?
Yeah.
It never, you know, the storyline from episode to episode never really evolved in any way. So in watching this one, I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, oh my God, Skeletor, he's got Castle Grayskull. Like, I'm sure I didn't have the words for it at the time, but I'm like, this plot, like, this has gotten, like, it's bigger and it's epic.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. Like,
He's a big hologram.
and this is real and it's in the real world now, and that's amazing to me. But like as an adult rewatching this, I'm like, this is such a small movie. Like it's such a they've clearly gone, okay, we need to build for purpose like 2 sets. We've got to build one room in Castle Grayskull and like Gwildor's apartment. And the rest we can just borrow some sets from like the small town dramedy that's recording next door.
Absolutely.
Or
a real music shop.
That's exactly a music shop and the you know a main road in a small town and a kid's bedroom and a warehouse. Whatever. I appreciate they built a couple of big weird vehicles.
Oh, absolutely. I love a big weird vehicle. Actually, speaking of Star Wars, Ralph McQuarrie actually worked on this a few years prior, and there's a bunch of early concepts, which you can see, here they are, and he put a bunch of big weird vehicles in it, because that's all He-Man was. Just looking at a vehicle and go, that's not right.
How's that going to move? I like a crab, but it's a bird. It's a big bird, though. Why is it? I don't know. It's all right. It's fallen down a cliff, and there's another one. I gotta buy the next one as well. I'm gonna keep buying. But yeah. So for people new to
I can't stress how big this property was.
Yeah.
If you look at the numbers, franchise was doing.
Yeah.
It's astounding this failed so hard.
Yeah. But this is, perhaps it's because this is the work, of course, of the Cannon Group.
Yeah.
Famously low-budget movie maestros and sometimes softcore porno.
Yeah.
But
Pick your poison.
that's right. That's right. And just the scrimping and saving, or to look at it another way, they made any of this.
Yeah.
Like they cheated some money out of some people and they made this movie.
I think it's pretty impressive that it mostly looks good. Like, there's not a lot of special effects or moments in this where you're like, that's bad, that looks bad, or whatever. You know that Castle Grayskull set? That's actually 2 separate sound stages, and they knocked the wall out of the middle. So that was apparently the largest...
Without the landlord's permission.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
That was apparently like the largest set Hollywood had seen in like 40 years. And you get the sense of scale from that.
Right.
But like beyond that, it's like a music shop and a street.
That's exactly right.
And a chicken place.
Yeah. They even got, and this fascinates me, they got Bill Conti to do the music. And Bill Conti, of course, for people who don't know, among other things, wrote Gonna Fly Now, the Rocky theme. But in this, he's produced a real bargain basement Superman theme for the opening. Just horrendous.
Got the swooping
title sequence, yeah.
Well, this movie and Superman 4 is the reason why Canon shut down.
That's right.
So I guess that's the aesthetic they were going for.
Yeah. Just his leftover stuff. Just some tapes he left behind as he was running from the tax man.
So He-Man in this.
None of us were ever here. This is a pet shop.
So He-Man in this.
Yes.
Played by Dolph Lundgren.
The wonderful Dolph Lundgren, who I love, but I think he's out of his depth here.
I think, though, there's a reason for that, is because he's very early to acting. He'd been Ivan Drago. Ivan Drago, not a big speaking part, you know?
Yes, that's true.
And he was still learning English. By the way, this guy, real-life genius.
Yeah.
Is he an astrophysicist or
something like
chemical
that,
engineer or something? Yeah.
He keeps his knowledge in his big muscles.
Exactly.
Here's a note I have.
Sure.
Cartoon He-Man, generally speaking, doesn't have a cape.
No.
This guy has a cape most of the time. And I think it's because Dolph Lundgren didn't want people to see his bottom.
Well, I saw his bottom.
Did you?
Sometimes.
Wow. Even the scene at the end where the cape is stripped off him and they're whipping him with a laser whip.
Yeah.
You never see below his
Maybe
waist.
I just imagined seeing
I
his
think
bottom.
maybe you just imagine seeing his bottom. But I think the lesson here, I think, is,
give us a look at your bottom.
give us a look at your bottom. The lesson here is, even if you're just an absolute, chiseled Adonis of a man, you can have, the world chips away at you and gives you little insecurities, and also work harder, dummy. Get those glutes working.
Absolutely. So what's interesting about that is he wanted to wear like a longer pants because he's in like little leather underwear, that's He-Man.
Especially, but I mean, chafing issues, especially if you're running.
Totally. And they wanted to put him in like little underpants and like big boots. And so the way they convinced him, no, the big boots and the leather underpants, that's much cooler and much more masculine. So that's why he's in it. He was like, I don't want to wear this. And they're like, that's cool, trust us. It's cool and normal. So apparently some stipulations for the character of He-Man in this is no love interests, can't kill anyone. So that's why all the stormtroopers are robots, right? Also, they went to him and said, listen, you're big. We love how big you are, but we got a problem. You're too big. You're going to have to do all your stunt work yourself because we can't get a stunt man who's as big as you.
Also, we don't want to pay for one.
It was a lie.
Yeah.
It was that big. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I've encountered the Cannon Group before.
So Dolph Lundgren said in a French magazine, just after this was released, that working on this film was a nightmare. The shooting schedule was 5 months and included 2 months of night shooting. And imagine just being this big all of the time.
Right?
It's hard work. I know people are like, roids and et cetera and whatever, but it's still very difficult to look and maintain this. Because he's not doing it for like a 30-second shirtless scene. He's shirtless the entire movie.
Yeah. And you would think that at a certain point you'd go, oh, they're on Earth now. He'd better disguise himself, and maybe he puts on a pink shirt and they call him Adam or whatever. That'd be a bit of fun, right?
Yeah.
But no, he's got to be shirtless and oiled.
Absolutely.
The entire movie,
And speaking of shirtless and oiled, so Frank Langella plays Skeletor, and he wanted initially for him to look more like the cartoon, as in like less covered up. The opposite of the Dolph, you know?
Sure.
But Gary Goddard, who was the director...
I want everyone to see my bottom, Frank Langella said.
So Gary Goddard objected to Frank Langella showing off his body in the movie because he didn't want Skeletor to be sexy.
Oh.
So this was dropped.
Well, the internet has proven him otherwise.
It's too late.
Yeah.
He's very sexy. Good makeup on him, I reckon, as well.
I think so too.
This Skeletor as a kid terrified me. Absolutely shit my pants seeing this. And even now, coming back to this, like, 30 years later, I'm
Your
like...
bowels are rumbling.
Yeah, I see it at first, I'm like, it's that guy I was afraid of. So Frank Langella actually went on record in an interview stating that playing Skeletor was one of his favorite roles.
I think his kids wanted him to do it.
Yeah, his young son was a huge fan and loved running around the house shouting by the power of Grayskull. So he took on the role. He even wrote some of his own lines like, "Tell me about the loneliness of good He-Man. Is it equal to the loneliness of evil?" When I heard that, I went, shit, that's like a real line in a real movie.
This is Shakespeare.
Somewhat.
This is oily Shakespeare with laser guns.
Well, Evil Lynn's like, there's something Shakespearean about, her and her relationship with Skeletor, and he's like, I just quest for power and whatever. By the way, fucking sick second outfit, Skeletor.
Right.
Love what you're going for there. Really good. You look fucking amazing. Disagree?
No, I firmly agree. Isn't it interesting, though, that He-Man's magic sword is only magic for like the last 5 minutes of that movie?
What do you want, Mason?
I'm magic the whole time.
Yeah. I don't really love the design of it either. They could have used the classic design, but there's a reason why they didn't. We'll come back to it.
Is it money?
Probably, but another thing. I also love some of the designs in this. There's 4 freaks, right? Just some good, scary creature design.
There's 4 freaks who have an awful lot of trouble tracking down one teenage girl from Earth.
Yeah, man.
Just they're running her a merry chase, bloody.
Wow, she was in
Friends.
She was in that Bruce Springsteen film clip.
Of course, that's right.
She's dancing on out of there, Mason.
Okay, cardio's good, is what you're saying. yeah,
that's
okay,
what
I
I'm
love
saying.
that.
Do you see the lizard guy's got like an inflatable neck? Apparently he had a straw in his mouth so he would like inflate it on the go. Those 4,
Yes.
and I know some of them aren't classic He-Man characters.
Blade was new, I remember
Blade's
being
new.
like...
Beastman's from whatever. But I think that's very Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain He-Man.
I think if they'd given him a little bit more colour,
Yeah.
they'd be more authentic to the cartoon. But
Sure.
in this, I guess you bring it to the real world, they all got to wear black, you know.
I feel like, though, this movie, I haven't mentioned this, it's not that bad.
It's not that good.
No,
it's not that good either.
I know, but I feel like the Earth stuff in the middle. I mean, there's a battle in the streets, and they're bringing some of their weird ships to Earth. I think all of that looks pretty good, and there's some compositing of things flying around, which is pretty fun.
I think it's good for the budget they had, which I presume was very low. But
it's higher than you think.
Yeah. Recently on our podcast, The Weekly Planet, we've been sort of bemoaning this idea of like all big blockbuster movies have to cost like $200-300 million.
Well, I love that. You're bemoaning. I'm
That's
for
right.
it.
And if they don't make $1 billion, they're considered a failure. And we've been like, well, maybe the presence of the low to mid budget movie will reemerge in Hollywood. And I'm like, what an incredible idea. And then I rewatched this, and I'm like, oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe there's a flaw to that.
Okay, sure.
Don't go too low.
I appreciate that. But I feel like when they come back to Castle Grayskull at the end and there's a final battle and they bring over Marty McFly's principal and he's like, I'll shotgun some robots or whatever.
That's right.
Or whoever.
Yeah.
Just some freaks.
Yeah.
I love all of that.
Come with me, Tom Paris from Star Trek Voyager. We're going to team up.
I feel like there's like a little bit of effort going on there.
Okay.
And I loved at the end of the movie.
That was the Canon Group's motto, a little bit of effort.
A little bit of effort, if you don't mind.
A little bit of effort and a lot of tax evasion.
But no stuntmen.
No stuntmen. We can't afford it.
Yeah. But I love that character also at the end. He's like, well, when I go back to Earth, I could shoot anybody here. And I got a beautiful woman.
That's right.
I live in this castle now.
I can shoot her if I want. And bring me another one.
So here's the thing. The reason it is the way it is because this is based on the toys and not
That's the name of the making of. This is the way it is.
Whether you like it or not. Yeah. It's based on the toys, not the animated series.
Okay, sure.
And if you did the animated series straight up, you'd have to put in like the tiger. There's things in that.
Then was never a tiger.
Never a tiger. Yeah. Also, this is the first time I'd experienced a post-credit scene.
Oh, yeah.
Skeletor's coming up and he's like, hello, I'll see you again.
That's right. I'm just lounging in this pool. I'm having a lovely time.
Absolutely. But we didn't. There was going to be a sequel, which we'll get to. But before we do that, let's talk trivia, Mason.
All right, let's do it.
Or as I like to call it, Masters of the Unitrivia.
Masters of the Unitrivia.
Yeah. So Mattel, the toy company that produced the original He-Man toys, ran a contest where the winner would get a role in this new He-Man movie.
Ooh.
Yeah. Then
Do you think we can still enter?
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, the guy won it already, but yeah.
Recently?
No, he won it in 1986 when this was filmed.
Huh.
Yeah. So the production was under a great deal of pressure to finish on time and under budget. So director Gary Goddard had to squeeze the contest winner into the shoot. The winner.
Just squeeze him into a costume.
Yep. The winner, Richard Sponda,
Okay.
is Pig Boy, who hands Skeletor his stuff when he returns from Earth. And he's even listed in the end credits. But at a 2012 PowerCon panel on the film, Richard Sponda stated that the night after he filmed his cameo in the film, his face was burning and he was in agony from the removal of the mask, which was glued to his face and was ripped off.
Oh no. Well, they ought to go. They ought to run.
Yeah.
From the IRS probably.
Exactly.
You work in a pet shop.
The Skeletor mask actually found new life, speaking of Star Trek.
It's pronounced Skellingtor.
The Skellingtor mask found new life in Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Deep Space Nine as the face of a skull-faced alien that Worf often fights in the holodeck.
Oh, there's a lot of little Star Trek references in this. Not deliberately.
Lasers, blasters,
Tom Paris,
lightning,
for example.
Guy falls down a pit.
Chelsea Field, who plays Teela, married to Scott Bakula. It was
Scott
in Star Trek
Bakula.
Enterprise, yeah.
And Scott Bakula rhymes with Dracula.
That's right.
Frank Langella played Dracula.
Whoa.
Probably.
God, everything in Hollywood links together, doesn't it? Probably.
Nepotism.
It's nepotism, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Christina Pickles, who plays the sorceress,
Okay.
and Courtney Cox, who plays Julie Winston, apparently, went on to play mother and daughter in Friends.
Friends?
You didn't recognize her from Friends, but I did.
I didn't recognize her from Friends because I just knew her as, in this movie, as a woman who's wearing a jean jacket made of jeans.
Oh, yeah.
See that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible. That's the 80s, baby.
Do you think that's a real Sarah Connor situation at the start, where she's like, I'm working in a restaurant. Hope nothing fucking weird happens.
Yeah. I think it was also a fun. They were like, let's give this character an arc. You
Yeah.
don't have to. Don't worry about it. But she's like, oh, I always feel sad because my parents said let's go up in a plane, and I said I won't go up in a plane, and then the plane crashed. So I think it's my fault. How is it your fault?
That's a very specific thing that your parents are doing.
Yeah. Right. And at the end,
Your problems aren't like my problems, is what I'm saying, Courtney Cox.
that's right. But then at the end, she gets sent back in time. She's like, you can't go on the plane. I'm stealing the keys. And then her boyfriend shows up and she's like, I've solved the problem. You sure? You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure he doesn't have a spare set of keys?
Maybe
or he'll
this-
get the keys back from you because you're a child?
Maybe this is what caused it in the first place.
Right?
This is a time loop.
Oh my God, the loop is closed.
Yeah. Now, in the official Masters of the Universe comic book adaptation, an alternate ending is used that was written for the movie but never filmed. In the comic, after the final battle between He-Man and Skeletor, Man-at-Arms is in this.
He sure is.
He comes from the depths of Castle Grayskull carrying a NASA and a United States flag. The NASA flag has Starfinder 5, July 10th, 2221 written on it, revealing that the first humans on Eternia were actually from a future American space mission.
Huh.
Yeah. Did you ever think about that?
I have never thought about that and I will never think about it again after this.
Oh, a dog's here.
Hello, Ollie, come here.
How'd you get in here? How'd you get in here, dog? Production designer William Stout took an existing...
Stout by name, stout by nature.
I don't know about that. Here's a picture. Took an existing fast food stand in Lakeview Terrace and transformed it into Robbie's Ribs and Chicken, where Julie Winston works. According to Stout, the same fast food... I forgot to put this in. The same fast food place was later the site of the infamous Rodney King beating.
Oh, boy.
God.
We can still take this out.
It's history, Mason.
I guess. That's what we're all about here.
God. Dolph Lundgren went on record in 1989 with Comic Scene magazine, where he said playing He-Man was his lowest point as an actor.
Oh, boy.
He did all right.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
You were He-Man.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's been asked since, like, more recently, if they make another He-Man, will you be in it? And he's like, oh, yeah.
Sure, yeah. You got money? You got money.
You got a stunt man?
Yeah. So you got money as stuntman? Do I have to take my shirt off because I'll be the king or whatever? Be the king of Eternia. That's a fun little reference that people like to do these days. You get the old guy, you make him the king of the father of the new guy or whatever.
Exactly.
You know?
People love that.
That's right. But he has to show his bottom.
Yeah,
the
that's
king has to
true.
show his bottom.
Man, that's great.
Yeah.
So the budget of this was $22 million.
Okay.
More than I thought. And it was the most expensive canon film.
Oh,
But the box office was 17.3 million.
that's less.
I feel like this should have done more like the cartoon.
How do you
and
mean?
And then kids would have turned up.
Oh, yeah, right. Uh-huh.
You know? It's like the Super Mario Brothers movie, the first one. Like, kids aren't going to this. What have you made? What is this? You know?
Oh, look, and I don't know. But I mean,
This property, the toys were like the biggest selling thing for like 4 years in a row.
But as I understand,
they made billions of dollars
during the filming of this. The sales dropped. Like they started dropping. So I mean, maybe this thing was doomed from the start. What is, I think, weird about this movie is that despite the fact that it is based on a toy franchise, it seems to have been, at least in part, like some kind of labor of love. Like they got in, like you mentioned, they got in
Ralph McQuarrie
to do some
for
of the,
a bit.
For a bit to do some of the designs. I think people involved in the production wanted to get Jack Kirby in to do like art design and stuff like that. And like, why would you bother with that if you didn't care? You know?
Yeah.
So,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They thought about some of this.
they were like, this is for adults. They were ahead of their time.
They were.
In a way.
But it didn't pay off.
Yeah, so too bad.
You made a big mistake. Why did you do this?
Yeah, why try?
There was going to be a sequel, though.
Oh, yeah.
A Masters of the Universe sequel was actually written and cast.
Masters of the Tooniverse?
Yeah, that's right. They would make that sequel and a Spider-Man film back to back. And the sets from the two movies were built, the costumes were made, both movies were fully cast, and the budget of Masters of the Universe Part 2 was set at $4.5 million.
That's low.
It's way less. Now, you might be like, how would you get around that, though?
Well, I mean, it will be set entirely in a closed shopping mall at night. Oh no, the Cosmic Keys trapped us in here. We'll have to do a chase on one of those little cars you put a coin in and it goes up and down.
Should we go into any of these shops? No, we're not allowed to. Could we go into this athlete's foot shop? No. No, we can't. The roller door is down. We won't be going in. So
you can take up to 2 donuts from the Donut King, though.
So the actor they cast in the sequel was surfer Laird Hamilton.
Okay.
And
led by name, led by nature.
That's right.
Can we see a picture?
Yeah, there's a picture.
Okay, great.
He's still around. Australian.
Oh.
And the sequel screenplay, you're not going to believe this, He-Man would have returned to Earth.
Yeah.
Which was the best part of the first movie.
And he gets a job in an apartment.
Kind of. And he was disguised as a professional quarterback.
Okay, sure.
And Skeletor disguised himself as an evil industrialist known as Aaron Dark. This didn't happen because Canon went out of business.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. Also, like, I know they talk about making another He-Man, and there's that series on Netflix, which I think does some really interesting things. I know people say, look, it's woke He-Man or whatever, but this He-Man's from a vegan planet or whatever. What do you think about that?
That's right, because Man Teela's like, oh, what's this? What's this yucky stuff? And Man-at-Arms is like, it's a bit of meat.
Also, He-Man's gay. Like, are we...
Oh, we're not beating around the bush anymore.
He's always been gay. Like, the thing about him being Prince Adam and becoming He-Man, it's obviously like a coming out metaphor.
It's an allegory, okay,
Come on, man. What are we doing here?
That's crazy.
It's not crazy.
Very reasonable.
It's reality.
It's reality, baby. It's right.
But I feel like there was a time to make this. And it was in 1985, probably. They missed it.
Oh, they missed it by 2 years.
Yeah. And so, if you're going to do this now, I just don't know whether anybody wants that or cares. You have to build a whole franchise from the ground up that's basically Star Wars, when you've got Star Wars, and you've got Dune, and you've got Zack Snyder's Star Wars.
That's right.
Like, what are you doing?
You've got Gareth Edwards' Star Wars.
Got Gareth Edwards' Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Star Wars.
You've got the Star Wars in people's heads that they imagine when they think of Star Wars, and no Star Wars is ever good enough. And every subsequent Star Wars is way worse, because it's not just Luke Skywalker wielding 16 lightsabers with the Force. Just cutting down AT-ATs or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't compare to that.
You
certainly can't do it with He-Man.
You read my screenplay.
I did. It's bad. It's dreadful.
Come on, mate. Anyways, anything can be good. I mean, I love the world of Eternia.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
It is weird. And I think, and it much maligned, but I think Thor: The Dark World sort of took the torch of that and did this kind of combination of science and magic that I think looks pretty cool. But I'm the only one, apparently.
Yeah. You like the bit where the guy's arms cut off and he's like, I got blood arms.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
I might put that in my screenplay, actually. Which you loved?
Yep. And now I do.
You're not gonna get a writing credit.
Ah. Can I be Bobby Bloodarms?
You can be Bobby Bloodarms,
yes.
Yeah. Anyways, if you like these videos...
And why wouldn't you?
And why wouldn't you? What's wrong with you? You can actually see them early.
Get it together, God.
Get it together. You can actually see them early if you head over to bigsandwich.co, where they always go up early. But there's a bunch of other stuff there. There's bonus movie commentaries. There's video game Let's Plays.
That's right.
Our podcast, The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows, that comes out there early on Sunday as opposed to Monday, and all of that is ad-free and exclusive.
Terrific.
But of course, maybe you just want to subscribe here or check out our podcast, The Weekly Planet, which comes out every Monday, as mentioned.
And why wouldn't you?
And why wouldn't you?
Get it together.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
What do you think of He-Man? Not you, James.
Yeah.
You've already given your opinion.
I like
That's
him.
pretty clear.
I like him.
But the listeners and the viewers, what do they think?
I don't
They
know.
should sound
I
off in the
don't
comments.
know.
I'm testing out sound off in the comments. sound off in the comments, folks. Give us your opinions.
Yeah, tell us your opinions.
Give us your piddling little opinions.
Tell us what you think about Kevin Smith's woke He-Man. I want to hear about that every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Just from people being like, I'm mad at this. I want to hear that.
Have you ever had a weird dude in a Skeletor costume do a 20-minute video where he's like, you don't get He-Man? Has that ever happened to you?
He's gay. I get it. I fucking get it.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.